Australian government seeks advice on management of .au domain. The Australian Department of Communications and the Arts has released its discussion paper on the appropriate framework for the management of the .au domain before the direct registration policy is implemented, and is seeking feedback by December 18, 2017. Minister for Communications Mitch Fifield announced on October 17, 2017 that the department would be conducting a review to ensure the management framework of the .au Domain Administration, auDA, the not-for-profit policy authority and industry self-regulatory body for the .au domain space, remains fit for purpose. As such, the Department of Communications and the Arts is seeking recommendations in 3 key areas: the most appropriate framework for the management of the .au top-level domain, how to ensure that government and community expectations inform auDA's operation and decision-making, and mitigation strategies to address future risks to the security and stability of .au. When the Australian government endorsed the auDA in 2000 as the appropriate entity to administer the .au domain, it outlined a number of terms of endorsement, including that the auDA operates within the provisions of its company constitution, recognizes that the Internet naming system is a public resource, operates as a fully self-funding and not-for-profit organization, be inclusive of and accountable to all members of the Internet community, adopt open, transparent, and consultative processes, promote competition, fair trading, and provisions for consumer protection and support, establish appropriate dispute resolution mechanisms, and represent Australian Internet industry interests in the Internet domain name system at national and international fora. However, there have been significant changes to the digital landscape since auDA was established, and the domain name system, DNS, environment is also different from when the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN, delegated management of the .au country code top-level domain to auDA in 2001, the discussion paper notes. The .au country code top-level domain is an increasingly important piece of Australian infrastructure, according to the department, given 37% of Australian businesses received orders via the Internet for the 12 months ended June 30, 2016, with these transactions worth an estimated $321 billion. Additionally, more than half of Australia's population, 13.7 million, are Internet subscribers. There are significantly more choices available to Australian consumers, organizations, and businesses that are considering registering a website, going from just a handful generic top-level domains, TLDs, such as .com, .net, and .org, to more than 1,200 generic TLDs, the discussion paper states. Due to Australia's increasing reliance on the Internet and the increasing scale and complexity of cyber attacks, the Communications Department said appropriate strategies and frameworks need to be established to ensure the .au country code top-level domain is secure and that risks are effectively managed by auDA. auDA has established mitigation strategies for responding to attacks against the .au domain, including implementing the Domain Name System Security Extensions, DNSSEC, which protects against attacks by digitally signing data to provide an assurance of its integrity, and introducing its information security standard to assist registrars to manage and improve the security and resiliency of their business. .au registrants and the .au DNS more broadly, the discussion paper acknowledges. auDA has also established a Security and Stability Advisory Committee. The Communications Department is still, however, seeking suggestions on what emerging risks auDA will face in relation to the security and stability of the .au domain, what would be best practice for DNS administration, whether auDA maintains appropriate mitigation strategies, what additional mitigation strategies should be considered, and how should they be assessed. What is the optimal mix of capabilities to expand auDA's cybersecurity preparedness, and how auDA should engage with the government in its management of risks. When it comes to auDA's roles and responsibilities, the department wants advice on what should be its primary roles and responsibilities, whether the current terms of endorsement are appropriate guiding principles for a .au country code top-level domain manager, whether the terms of endorsement reflect community expectations for the management of the .o country code top-level domain, and what trends and developments could affect the auDA's roles and responsibilities in the future. In relation to governance and management, the Communications Department is also seeking recommendations on what best practice approaches and processes should be considered regarding the auDA's corporate governance. What good corporate governance